What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Kernel. We are back from break. I'm not gonna lie, there's been event after event after event, and I'm finally in the studio to actually record episodes. So I'm really happy to be back. You already know we have a bunch of Switch 2 news. I also didn't make a regular video on the Switch 2 because I wanted to, with the tariffs and everything, I just wanted to make sure we got more finalized stuff because I feel like every time I do a podcast episode about things like this, things change, and it's the news and every stuff. Like stuff changes so drastically every other minute, let alone every other week. So sometimes it's like I just wanted to get some more finalized stuff before I make a podcast episode about this. So we're here now, and let's get right into it. Switch to prices, man. This is something that's been really eating away at Americans right now. So the pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 will begin on Thursday, April 24th, 2025. At launch, the price for the Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will remain as announced on April 2nd, which was $449.99. And the Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle will remain as announced, which is $500. Pricing for both physical and digital versions of Mario Kart World is $79.99, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is $69.99. Will also remain unchanged at launch. However, Nintendo Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from those announced on April 2nd due to changes in market conditions. Other adjustments to the price of any Nintendo product are also possible in the future depending on market conditions. This is via GameStop Twitter account, official Twitter account. So the MSRP as of April 18th, 2025. Nintendo Switch 2, $449.99. The Switch 2 bundle with Mario World is $500. Mario Kart World is $80. Donkey Kong Bonanzas is $70. Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controllers $84.99. Joy-Con 2 pair is $94. Well, $95. Joy-Con 2 charging grip is $40. Excuse me. Joy-Con 2 strap is $14. Joy-Con 2 wheel set $25. Nintendo Switch 2 camera is $55. Nintendo Switch 2 dock set is $120. Nintendo carrying case and screen protector is $40. Nintendo Switch 2 all-in-one carrying case is $85. Nintendo Switch 2 AC adapter is $35. Samsung micro SD express card 256 gigabytes for Nintendo Switch 2 is $60. I know that was a lot. Those are all the prices. I just want to make sure all of us are up to speed, including me, because this is something that I didn't really see until the other day, like the day before I recorded this episode. So need a little bit of refresher there. Okay, so now that we got all of that out of the way, right, prices and everything, here's the biggest thing about this. Me and my friend were talking about this. Me and a couple of my friends were talking about this back and forth. My biggest issue with this is that Nintendo, in my opinion, has always been that console, at least not even always, especially recently, the last, like, let's say 10 years, have been, hey, this is a more budget friendly console that I can get and I can play with my family. I know a lot of women also like the Nintendo Switch, for especially during the COVID times. There was or lockdown times, COVID times. There was Animal Crossing, Pokemon, stuff like that. That's still really popular, but that's like, things like that. It's a great party system. It always has been a great party system because Mario Kart, Mario Galaxy, Super Smash Bros, etc. Like, this is what Nintendo was known for. And by budget, I know in this day and age, we call anything that's not super expensive. If it's not super expensive, it's disrespect. No, budget does not mean disrespect. It means it is a more affordable option for people who do have a budget, per se, a more tight budget than others, but still want to get in on the gaming experience, right? And you shouldn't have to be some rich person to afford a gaming console. Again, gaming is a luxury, not a necessity, but that does not mean that you should price out the people or your audience that actually give you your billions of dollars every year, right? So, I say all that to say that I think Nintendo is starting to get away from its roots a little bit. I do think, in my opinion, the price for the Nintendo Switch 2 being at $449.99 bundleless, and then the bundle for Mario World at $500, I'm okay with that because of the specs and because of they are giving you a better console than the Switch. Now, I've seen some of the display videos and stuff like that, and I'm not impressed with the Switch 2. I'm not blown away. I'll say that. I'm not blown away so far. Now, granted, I've not got my hands on it. I've not played it yet. But from what I've seen, I'm not blown away to the point where I would personally spend $500 on a Switch. I don't think the price for the Switch, the console itself, is too egregious. I do think it's going to price some people out. I do think there are going to be a lot, especially in the economy right now, the U.S. economy right now. I do think there's a lot of people who have to make certain decisions, and right now they're not willing to put $450 or $500 towards a console. And let's say people didn't want Mario Kart and they want the Donkey Kong game. I don't think people people gonna want to put $450 down for the console and then another $70 for Donkey Kong. Now you see the prices for like PS5, Xbox games right now is around $70 plus. That is different than Nintendo, because the thing, again, like I said about Nintendo, is that a lot of people buy Nintendo games and they're expecting games to be around a certain price range because it's just a more affordable option for them. And they also have a really cool ecosystem. A lot of people who buy Switch like Mario, they like Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, Metroid. They like some of these games. Now, when you have a console that increases the price of this much, mixed with games averaging 70 to $80, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's excluding tax. So you add tax to like Mario Kart World, that's already at $80. You're probably spending like about $85 or so for this game. And I just think that at the end of the day, you're going to start pricing people out of this. Now, does Nintendo care? They care about money. How much do they care about the actual gaming experience, and how much do they care about their fans? We will see, because there will be mega pushback on this. Regardless of what the tariffs do to this, there will still be pushback to this, because at the end of the day, there are 2 to 3 pretty big games that are supposed to be coming out in 2025. If I'm not mistaken. I don't know if Fable is still coming out in 2025, but I do know that Grand Theft Auto is coming out, and Mafia Old Country is coming out. I believe both those games are supposed to be coming out in 2025. Those are going to be expensive games, especially the rumors are true about GTA, where it's going to be like $100 or something. That's going to be a real like decision money-making point. Especially by the time GTA comes out, you'll have the new cycle of like 2K sports games will start coming out again too. So people are going to have to make decisions. And so people who were waiting and ready for your Switch 2, well, now you wait to the point where some of the biggest some of the GTA is going to be bigger than Mafia, but the biggest game release probably ever in the history of game releases is upon us. And this is going to be a legitimate decision. People are going to be like, do I want to buy this? Is this something I want to do? I don't know if people want to do that. I'm not going to lie to you. I just don't know. Because now it's like, okay, well, this summer I'm going to get GTA. And I don't know if GTA pre-orders have happened yet. I don't know if GTA pre-order, I'd be shocked if it didn't, because it's supposed to come out relatively soon here. But, yeah, GTA is going to be in back of people's mind, especially people who start putting down for GTA's like, oh, that's $100 I'm gonna be missing on my bank account. Do I really want to go and do I really want to go get the Switch 2? So we'll see. We will see. Also, it depends too how the Nintendo Switch 2, like how it's going to work out with the release. Like I know people are going to put pre-orders down. Is it like some of the other consoles where you have to put down the full amount? Can people put down a small deposit to save their spot and slowly pay it off? Um, I'm legitimately interested to see how that's going to go, because I really feel like that's also something that's going people are going to have to see. Like, okay, can I go and put down a certain amount of money now, and then like slowly pay it off, or do I have to do like kind of like PlayStation 5 was, where I have to go put down a full price? There's so many decisions to make when it comes to the Switch 2 that I'm not sure that it's gonna hurt it. Also, as someone who has had their hands on a Legion Go and some of these other handheld systems since the Switch has come out, this price range, I mean, yeah, the other Legion Go and some of the other like AMD handheld consoles are not cheap. They're way more expensive than the Switch 2 is going to be. But the amount of games in the library is so drastically large compared to Nintendo that it's gonna be worth it. Like, yeah, this Legion Go or whatever is like almost $800, but because I have Steam and I can get access to have access to Windows 11 or the latest Windows, and I have access to the Xbox gaming library, like that's range, brother. That's a huge range compared to Nintendo Switch 2. That's obviously going to take some time to build up the Switch 2's gaming library for just Switch 2 games, not like the reboots or remastered versions of many of the games like Nintendo's notoriously always does. I would be really interested to see where people's pockets are willing to go. Because, man, April 24th which is in a couple of days here from the recording of this podcast episode, is that it's going to be really interesting. I'm curious, is it going to be a PS5 situation? Now, obviously, PS5 and Xbox had COVID and all kinds of other stuff to deal with its contention. So my thing is now, like, because of the tariffs and some other stuff, I know they said when it affect the prices, will it affect anything else? Like, well, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see if the Nintendo Switch is going to record all-time high pre-orders for the US. Like, I'm just really curious to see where people's money is going to go to this, because again, this is something where people are going to make financial decisions. And I'm not talking about people who like can't even afford food. I'm talking about like people who have money to pay for things like this. They just have to be more selective. That's the thing. I feel like people always talking about like poverty. Like, I know there's people who just can't afford games no matter how much they are, right? I'm talking about people who have the means to do this. I'm talking about also another group is just straight up gamers who their thing is, when they have disposable income, is to buy games, to play games. I'm talking about those type of groups. Either way, they have to know how the economy is right now. They have to really be careful with their bread. So I'm very curious how people are going to spend their money, because the Switch, I think the official release date is in June. I think June 5th, I think, if I'm not mistaken, which is 2 months away. That's not really that long to wait. But my thing is, again, is the Switch 2, is that the console of the summer? Like, is that what you're going to be playing during the summertime? While everyone else is gearing up for, like, another 2 months after that for, like, GTA 6. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I just don't know. And that's what I'm curious about. And y'all should comment below and let me know as well. Like, what are your thoughts about the price for the Nintendo Switch 2? Like, what are your thoughts about what's going on with the price increase, the price hikes? I mean, I was traveling the other day to Detroit, or like a couple weeks ago to Detroit, and I was trying to go buy a I think it was like a meal from Burger King. Burger King of all places. The meal was like a regular large meal was like 15, $16 for like a chicken finger meal or whatever. I've never in my life spent $15 at Burger King for anything. And I've had orders with multiple stuff. I've never had cross almost $20 on an order at Burger King. That's how I know the prices are getting crazy everywhere, bro. Like, this is not a joke. This is the economy's getting tough. And I linked that back to the Nintendo Switch too, because I'm just like, it's going to get to a point where even if you buy the Switch, is it worth buying it day one? Because unless you're a huge Mario Kart person, and unless also, by the way, a lot of your other friends plan to buy the Switch 2 as well, like, there's just so much stuff that factors into this. Like, kind of the same thing when PS5 came out. Like, there wasn't a lot of people who can get their hands on the PS5, so it was like, you know, it was just kind of like you're kind of there just chilling. Switch 2 is not going to be as egregious, obviously, but it's still going to be interesting to see the numbers. I'm really curious if they make the numbers public and to see what happens, because they're doing this thing about physical versus digital as well, where I guess you pay more for a digital version than the physical version. Or, sorry, you pay more for the physical version than the digital version in some cases in the future. I don't know how true that is, but that is going to be something interesting and something noteworthy to, like, look into. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, a part of me really wants to buy the Switch 2, because I want to do a review on it. I want to do an unboxing. I want to do the full thing. And also, I just want to compare it to the Switch. I want to compare the games. There's a lot of things I want to do with it. Just a couple of things I feel like are kind of lackluster that I am interested. I need to probably look more into. I'm curious, like, are they going to drastically, because the online service for Nintendo needs to be drastically changed. It's not good enough. It needs to be drastically changed. I need more out of, I need more out of the party system. I need more out of the messaging system. The game store for Nintendo Online needs to be way better. If the future is full digital, Nintendo's way too far behind. They need a complete overhaul of that user interface and experience. It needs to be way better. I'm very curious of what the games are like, because a part of Nintendo's problem is that because of the hardware, they can't run certain games. There's a lot of games that run on Xbox and PlayStation 5 that they cannot run. So, which is fine. You're not buying a Switch to play The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Like, that's not why you're getting a Switch. I understand. Nintendo has a huge list of games they could release for their console that are going to be for the console only. Some of the last exclusives, but they just don't. This year, it sounds like with this console, from the rumors, from what I've seen people report, it sounds like Nintendo's going to go a little bit more in on some of their iconic IPs and give us some new stuff, not just regurgitate the same old shit they keep doing every new console, but like actually give us some original cool stuff like Metroid and stuff like that. So if that's the case, I'll wait, and then when I see that happen, like when I see them release like more stuff and really expand their IP to where it should have been for the Switch, then we're talking. I'm not gonna lie, I was not a big fan, and still not a big fan of how they did the recent Legend of Zelda games for the Switch. I really think they took a step back with that. Now, I'm one of the few. There obviously is super popular, and obviously a lot of people like it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with liking the game. Like, I'm not one of those people. I personally just didn't like it, so now I'm kind of off Legend of Zelda, which I never thought I would be, but I'm off of it. Now I want to see more. I want to go into Metroid. I want to go into, like, just look at the Smash Bros. Really go back to Melee and like just look at some of the roster they had for that game. there's a lot of games, a lot of IPs they could make. I really want to see some really cool stuff. I think Fire Emblem. I've never really got into Fire Emblem, but it's never too late. I really like a good Fire Emblem game for the Switch 2 that would make me a fan of Fire Emblem. Again, Metroid. I always harp on. There's never enough Metroid. Like, you can keep giving me more Metroid games. I'm never going to complain about Metroid. But with the increased hardware, I think I think Nintendo could do more. I think, how can I put this? I believe Nintendo could push for more, like, push the boundaries of their hardware and software and give us some more classic original games, or just like really revitalize some of their IPs. Like, again, like, I'm just using Metroid or even Star Fox especially. They could make a really solid Star Fox game that I think, with the tech they have in the Switch 2, could really put them into a really great category, or like put them in a really great place. I feel like they went a little bit too soft, and they went too safe on a lot of choices. I think that they could make more bold choices now that they finally did a more decent job on their hardware. And I really think they could push this, especially to give us the GameCube controller. I think there's a lot of stuff they could do with what they're doing to Switch 2. I just hope they don't drop it. I really hope they continue, because I grew up with Nintendo 64, GameCube, and like, I'm used to them, and the Nintendo DS. Like, I'm used to them giving us some really crazy, wonky ideas that work for them, and giving us some games that really utilize the hardware they're giving us. You know what I mean? And I'm used to have some games that are really cool. Like, there should be no reason why Metroid shouldn't be their horror game franchise, or their horror adventure game franchise. Just like how PlayStation and them have like BioShock and stuff like that, right? Like, Nintendo can go bar for bar with a lot of these properties. Obviously, for fighting games, Street Fighter, all that stuff, Nintendo has Super Smash Bros., one of the most successful fighting games in the history of fighting games. So like, they have the ability to do it. I just hope that they continue to push, continue to innovate, continue to do something new and exciting with the Switch 2, because God knows it's gonna be forever until we get another console after this. So like, let's utilize and make the most out of this. Let's not just bank on, oh, the Switch was wildly successful, so we're here just for money. And I know money's a big thing, I get it, but let's make gaming an exciting frontier. Let's make it something where it's like we can really explore the Nintendo universe and give our fans, our loyal customers and fan base, something new and exciting that they wouldn't be expecting. Like, let's keep pushing the boundaries of what we have made. If we spent all this time making this, let's make it worth it. Let's make this generation of ours something unforgettable. The Switch was unforgettable because it was a handheld console that could do, like, that's why. But like, with the Switch 2 now, the gimmick's done. So let's get back to the gaming aspect of it. Let's make games that are really exciting, that can match and really push our hardware to why we made it this powerful. Like, let's do something special here. And not that the Switch 1 didn't have special games and masterfully made and crafted games. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think, compared to its predecessors, compared to other previous generations, I think that Nintendo over the time has gotten really comfortable with the fact that, if we just do something wonky and unique, we're just going to bank off billions of dollars, and we can just keep remastering stuff from like the 90s, early 2000s, and bank on that. So no, let's give them a new Star Fox game. Hell, let's give them an Ice Climbers game. You know what I mean? Like, let's give them something really cool to look at. Let's give them a really cool Sonic video games. Let's give them let's make more crossover games they wouldn't expect. You know, like, let's keep doing that. Hell, I actually really liked Soul Calibur when it came to Nintendo. I really liked that Soul Calibur game with Link, and Soul Calibur for the Nintendo GameCube was a really sick game. And now you pair games like that with a complete overhaul of their online system to make a game chat and party chat way better. now you're talking. Now you're speaking my language. Now you're giving me something really, really cool. Like you're really starting to innovate and do something interesting there. Like that's what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see something really, really interesting, something really cool, and something that like will just make sense. Something that's fun. And I do believe they can do that. Now, will they? Do they feel like it? I'm not sure, but I'd be interested to see them try and to see them have fun. And I think we can do that. I really do. I really do think we can do that. And I think that we can see some really fun gaming. And I have hope in them. I don't want them to fail. I have hope in Nintendo. I do think they can give us, especially with this price point, I do think we're going to get something really special with this console. I just don't know. I just don't know if they will, but I hope they do. So, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. Are you going to get it? Are you going to skip it? Are you going to wait and see? Are you someone like me who because of 2020, everyone was doing, like the what's it called, Imposters, or whatever the game was called, and then COVID and everything, like Animal Crossing and stuff like that. Did you just say, what, fuck it, I'm gonna go get me a Nintendo Switch? Like, let me know your thoughts down below. See you on the next one. Peace.